Hey guys, welcome to Chapter 4, Section 1, I believe. Up to this point, we've created our app, we've deployed it on Heroku, and we've created a post controller, and we have a couple views within our post controller. We don't have any dynamic content yet, and the reason for that is obviously because we don't have a database. So any kind of dynamic application is going to use some kind of database or some kind of content source for the models to grab from. So in this section I just want to kind of display what my plan is for the database of our application. And this could change. This is just what I see up until now. This will work right now. There may be some changes along the way, maybe add or remove a couple database fields, or maybe even a table or two. But this is basically just a rough draft, and I'm not using any high-tech data modeling software. I'm just using Excel, just so to make it simple. It's a very simple structure that I'll go over briefly. And yeah, it's really simple. It's not too hard to understand. So up here I have, for right now, we're going to have three tables. We're going to have a table for the categories, the posts, and users. Now I'll explain this legend. The red here, these red fields, these table fields, these are all auto. Whoops, this should be red as well. These are all automatically generated by Rails. So every table you create, or every resource, whatever you want to call it, all have an ID, and the ID is an integer, and usually it's auto increment, which means with everything you add, every field you add, or every value I should say, this will change. This will go up. So the first one you enter will be 1. For instance, the first post that we create will be 1. The next one will be 2, then 3, and so on. So it's auto incremented, and it's also the primary key, which is used to identify a value. And every ID is unique, so there's no confusion about which value you're trying to get or read. And we also have these timestamps, create date and update date. These are created with Rails as well. So when we create a new post, it's going to have the timestamp or the date of that exact moment where we created it. And then if we go back in to an existing post and we change it and then we save it, this update date will change. And it should, I'm pretty sure it's a timestamp, not a date field. And a timestamp is just a string of numbers. And what it represents is the amount of seconds that have gone by since I think it was January 1st, 1970, and that's how a lot of computer systems all stay up to date. They have a Unix timestamp, so very accurate in terms of the date and the time and whatever. So that's that. And so our categories, all we have aside from these auto-created fields is the name. So this is just going to be the name, the title of the category. Alright, so now we have the post table, and this is where we're going to get into some relational database stuff. As with all the others, we have the ID, we have the title, which is just going to be the post title, the post body, and you'll see, I should have mentioned this earlier, this colon here, it separates what we want to name the field and what type of field it is. We have string. If you're familiar with any kind of SQL, varchar, this is the same thing basically. It's just it's text, it's a string, and it's not like a long text field. So title will have string because it's not going to be that long. Body, however, will have a text field, because a page body could be unlimited length, so we would use text for that. Now this category ID is going to be a foreign key, and this is going to match up with the category ID. So this and this, that's why we have this star here, it links them together. So when we create a new post, we'll select a category out of the categories table, and that will, the ID will be able to tell us which category the post is in. Now we have this author ID, which is the same idea, except we're getting it from the users table ID. Okay, so this will reference this, and then we have the date, the create and update dates. Alright, so the users table, I have it in blue because we're going to be using a gem or a module or what component, whatever you want to call it, called Active Admin. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us an admin interface to be able to log in and check and update and add new posts. And that will create some of these on its own, so we're not going to have to manually create the users. We might, I'm not exactly sure the approach we're going to take with this, but we will be using Active Admin just so we have a nice admin area without having to do it manually, because to do something like that manually would take it's beyond the scope of this series. So that's why I have it in blue. Okay, so that's pretty much for right now. That's the schema of our database. And down here I just have controllers. We already created some of these post controllers, the index, the show, edit, and we're also going to have the same kind of views or controllers for categories as well. So that's a basic outline of the database, and in the next section we'll actually put this stuff into play. We're going to create some models, and we're also going to create these tables and all that good stuff. So I will see you in the next video.